They're trying to arrange for the young man's burial, and they're on their way. First, let me begin in the name of Allah, most gracious, most merciful. I ask that I'm going to ask for a couple of things here for myself as a man who believes in God, that God has mercy on the young man. I don't know what his faults were, but I don't think that whatever transpired warranted him being killed. I also want to pray for the officers that were involved, that God would guide them, because they have families, and I don't know how strongly they take it that they've murdered a young man that they well could have captured. Well, I say that because they can capture elephants without killing them. You can capture wild dogs. You can capture tigers and lions and bears. Oh my! You can capture all of them without and I think if they had ample time and ample information, that if they wanted to really, I think that it was reckless that they would be out here in the parking lot shooting on the part of the officers. I think it was foolish on the part of the young man that if he did wield a knife in front of 5 officers, I think that was very foolish.
Some people know who you are, some people don't.
Okay, my name is Abdullah Farouk. I'm the Imam from the Mosque of the Praising of Allah. I'm very concerned for our public safety, because as I saw in the film the other day, there was a school bus going by in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, school bus. And it was a yellow car, and it was 7:15 in the morning. That's when the children are going back and forth to school. So I think of their approach to this, their planning for it, was very reckless, and it led to the young man's death. I think that the young man might have put his head in the jaw of a lion, and it got it crushed.
Do you know where the family, how long until they will join?
They said they are on their way from Brighton. They're trying to arrange for his burial arrangements, which we are hoping that will be tomorrow. And they just called me and said, well, was I here yet? And I said, I was struggling to get here. I've had so many things to do. So forgive me for being late.
We've heard from Rahim a little bit more today, calling for calm after he previously made statements that the video showed.
Well, he emotionally responded, and he responded to the information that he received. You know, he heard that when we hear about a young black man, it's not unheard of that he would be shot in the back in America. It's a climate of racism. I'm not saying that America's racist, but there are still elements of racism in this country, and I think that we have to be careful if we're going to uncover what is real and good about this situation. There's some things real and good, and that we need to uncover what the young man did, how much he said, what were the circumstances of. They say that I heard today that they were surveying him or surveilling him for some 3 years. And that for the last few weeks that they've been surveilling him, and their surveillance was going on for 24/7.
Imam, where did you hear that, sir?
My wife said that she heard that on some news report. I'm not sure how definite that is, but we do know that there was surveillance going on. And if they considered him as a very dangerous person, that means if they considered him a very dangerous person, they should have took precautions in approaching him. I would. I wouldn't approach a wild animal or anything that I thought was dangerous without being fully prepared, especially if I wanted to capture and keep him alive. So I don't think that their intent was to capture him and keep him alive.
Do you agree with Ibrahim's brother's comment now that the time is for calm?
The time is for calm. What are we going to do? The boy is gone. We have to move on. We have to find out more, and I think that if the Boston Police Department and then the FBI do some more thorough investigation, they said that they were calling for transparency, then I'm looking for that transparency. I want to know who orchestrated this incident. I mean, I know that they can plan for capturing, like I said, wild animals or anybody they want to get. So I think it was poorly constructed, and I think it was ill-conceived, and I think it was reckless.
I understand the family wants to see the video just as you have, and it's now being arranged.
Right, I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping that we can bring some closure to the family. I ask that God overlook the shortcomings of the people who continue to exist that murdered the young man. I know that they probably didn't want, that's not what they intended in their hearts, but this is what they're trained to shoot at the critical mass and in an open space with cars going by, and a school bus that was actually in the video. Did you see the video?
No, we haven't seen it.
Okay, well, there's a school bus that actually goes around the turn just right along the time that they were firing on it. So, I mean, that's a very dangerous thing. If they're concerned with public safety, then public safety needs to be considered for all of us. I mean, he hadn't killed anybody, you know. His tongue was wagging, as I understand, saying things that I think were inappropriate, but that doesn't warrant killing someone.
He had also bought 3 knives and was bringing a knife with him.
Well, they promised the police headquarters, at police headquarters, they promised that they would show the family the film, and I think it would help bring some closure to the matter. It's the film is not definitive, it's not clear as to what transpired, but it does show some interaction between some officers coming out of the Boston Police Department, and the FBI said were two Boston Police, 3 FBI, I'm not quite sure of the mix, and that they approached the young man, and they say that he brandished a knife, and they backed away from him, and it seemed like that might have been what happened.
Were the officers in uniform?
They were ununiformed.
You say that he was wagging his tongue, but police say he bought 3 knives and had one of them with him. Isn't that a bit more than?
I'm talking about what he was going to do with them. Right. He had some threatening conversation on the internet, phone calls. I'm not sure about any of that, so I can't speak to that.
Ibrahim had a very different impression of what happened initially. Do you think that his ability to watch this video will now change his impression of what transpired out here?
I think that he's a very intelligent man, a very settled person. And I think that this will help bring some calm to his heart, that maybe his brother might have, stimulated the situation. I'm not sure.
If police believe that some sort of attack or violent behavior was imminent, what would have been the appropriate method for trying to speak with them?
Well, listen, they are the professionals. They're professional people who apprehend people all the time. If they wanted to get a Whitey Bulger, they just, they know what to do. If they want to take him down or without killing him, they know what to do. They've been, the surveillance has gone on for some time. So they know his pattern of behavior and everything else. And if they thought of him as being dangerous and volatile, then they should have took precautions, so they could at least question him.
In your conversation,
did he make a phone call to his father to say goodbye? That was the context of the phone call.
I'm sorry.
Did he make a phone call to his father to say goodbye?
I heard that his father said, that he heard him on the phone, and that he said, he was kind of gurgling, so I can't breathe. I don't know if any of this is true at all, but.
have you talked with the family the past few days about them looking back to see whether they now, in hindsight, can see any evidence of what the investigators call radicalization?
I'm trying to let them deal with their sorrow. Maybe we'll have some further conversation as the days go by. Right now, I think that there's 2 things. There's the mechanics of their son's death, about getting him in the ground. But what we got from one funeral parlor, the funeral parlor that we have dealing with his burial, said that they called Knollwood Memorial Park, and they said that they wouldn't take him because he was a suspected terrorist.
So you're facing difficulty with the burial because of...
Well, this is what we heard from the Knollwood Memorial Park.
So at least one.
But the other group that we called said they welcomed him,
And
So,
where was that? And where is that?
That's in Canton.
Abdullah, you said you knew Usaama as a young man as he was growing up. What would cause him, even if he was just talking, what would cause him to say something about killing police officers to his nephew, David Wright, if the allegations are true?
Nothing of the religion teaches that. What he gets this is from the media. The media teaches our children. We know our homes and our religious organizations no longer influence them. They're on the internet and watching media more and watching Rambo movies than they are influenced by what we teach them or what religions teaches them. I mean, that's like asking, what would make the Ku Klux Klan act the way they do?
Are you talking about propaganda videos? Is that what you're talking about?
Propaganda videos, and also just the general media.
So you're saying you think he might have been influenced by jihadist propaganda video? Is that possible?
No, I don't know about jihadist. He's influenced by the media. The media is teaching us a great many things about what the world is today, instead of teaching what the world could be. If we would turn to follow some of these people that we say that we believe in, Prophet Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, Prophet Moses, we should say, what would Jesus do? What would Muhammad do? What would Prophet Moses do? What are the teachings? Not to chop off people's heads. As a matter of fact, the religion of Islam is a religion of invitation to the word salam, which means peace.
You think the popular culture is more of a danger and more of a cause of some of these things happening than the directed jihadi messages from the Middle East?
The jihadi messages don't really reach us. Many of them in Arabic, and some of them are posted on the internet for people to watch. I had always advised them, I said, don't watch that garbage because this is not Islam. when you see somebody taking a knife and cutting off somebody's head, that's not the teachings of Islam. The first of the teachings.
Do you agree that had you noticed any change in terms of the way he approached religion?
Huh?
Had you noticed any change in the way he approached religion, or did your family mention that? Was there any obvious signs?
He came with some regularity to the Friday prayer. That's the only time I would see him in the front row sitting. And you know. Sister, is the family here yet?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're here?
right here.
No, okay. Okay. This is the sister this is the young man's aunt and first cousin.
Could you tell us who is speaking again?
Would anyone like to step up and say a few words to the aunt?
I said I wasn't, but I would like to address a question about.
And just tell us who you are, please.
Your name, man. Front of the mic.
Come on with you. That's so good to hear.
Well, he's my nephew. His mother is my sister.
Who?
His mother is Usaama's mother is my sister.
What's your name?
What's your name?
My name is Karen. That's enough.
Karen, what did you want to tell us?
So I just want to address his question about what would influence him to make him feel threatened. I think he felt threatened. And as you all know, with the current slaughter of black men going on right now across the nation, that's enough to make any and all black men feel threatened. So that would be one of the prevalent reasons why he would feel that way. And it has nothing to do with Islam. And there's a lot of black people and black men who are angry at the cops right now and putting things out on social media about the cops and maybe, you know, just not being happy with the cops. But when you add the factor of Islam, now everyone in the media wants to add terrorism to it. If it wasn't for him being Muslim, then we would not be hearing terrorism. We would not be hearing ISIS. And that's what I want to
say. You don't believe the
say.
connections with ISIS? They say he was on
No,
websites.
it is not with ISIS.
But do you believe he was
I
on
do not
websites?
believe it is.
Why do you
Was
think
he
that he was being
radicalized?
followed by the Joint Terrorism Task Force?
I don't know all the facts to answer that.
We don't see. The thing is we don't have facts to go on. We have allegations.
Exactly.
But you think rather than getting ready to attack police, he was carrying knives to defend himself?
Well,
we don't know that he was getting ready to attack police.
No, but he was.
From what I
didn't say he
heard,
was.
from what
said
I
he was carrying
heard
a
on the
knife.
media,
Right.
was that they said at the last minute, at 5 a.m., he decided to. He mentioned boys in blue, so which was some last minute discovery. It was no plot. There was no scheming. It was some type of impulse.
But I put that aside.
Statement.
I put that aside when I asked simply, he was here with a large military style of life. What do you think he was carrying that for defense, or he was worried?
Not for defense, maybe for as just a general threat. Okay.
Thank you, baby.
Okay.
this is
I'm
Ibrahim
done.
Rahim. He'll introduce himself. This is the brother of Usaama.
I have a brief statement on behalf of the family. I am Ronald Sullivan. This is Intisar Rob, and we have been engaged by the family of Usaama Rahim to represent the family's interests in this matter. Rahima Rahim, Usaama's mother, is present with us. She and her entire family grieve the loss of her youngest son, and she, on behalf of her family, seeks answers. The family is interested in and dedicated to ensuring that a complete and transparent investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of Usaama Rahim occurs. The family hopes to work productively and cooperatively with federal and local authorities in a joint effort to search for truth. We salute the Suffolk County District Attorney, Daniel Conley, on his willingness to show the surveillance video to the family and its lawyers in advance of the public seeing it. Indeed, when we leave here, we are traveling to the district attorney's office to view the videotape. We trust that such transparency will continue to be extended to the family during the pendency of this investigation. At this early stage, it is important to point out that publicly available reports and statements from local and/or federal law enforcement officials indicate that law enforcement's initial contact, its initial engagement of Mr. Rahim on the morning of June 2nd, 2015, was not supported by a warrant. Publicly available reports and statements from local and/or federal law enforcement officials indicate that on the morning of June 2nd, 2015, law enforcement officers did not have individualized or particularized suspicion that Mr. Rahim at that time was engaged in any illegal activity. The manner in which Mr. Rahim was approached by law enforcement officials bears on the reasonableness of his alleged response to law enforcement and the reasonableness of law enforcement's exercise of its discretion along the force continuum. The surveillance tape alone does not resolve these and other important issues. Let me be clear, the family is not making any substantive claims at this time about what happened in this case. Instead, the family is waiting for evidence in order to form a reasoned and informed opinion. The media has reported comments found on social media by Mr. Rahim's older brother, Imam Ibrahim Rahim. These comments resulted from information Imam Rahim received from third parties very near the time of his brother's death. These were the responses of a man whose youngest brother was just killed. Imam Rahim will reserve comments and keep an open mind until more information is provided. We now know that we simply did not have all the facts at that time. In short, the family looks forward to a thorough and transparent investigation. I shall entertain a very few questions at this point. I will answer as many questions as I can, and then the family will retreat to prepare for the janazah, the funeral service for Usaama Rahim. Thank you.
Mr.
I'll
Sullivan,
take questions.
are you saying, if you can take out the legal terms there, that you think the way the police acted was unreasonable and therefore Rahim's response may have been reasonable?
I don't know how the police acted. We have not seen the video as of yet. What I will say is that in the United States of America, law enforcement is only permitted to detain people if they have a warrant or if they have probable cause to effect an arrest. We don't know what was present. It's very relevant the manner in which the officers approached, whether Mr. Rahim reasonably believed that he was free to leave or whether he felt that he was in fact detained. I am not suggesting that anything justifies approaching officers with a knife. I don't know that happened. We will look at the videotape very shortly, but we have to decouple a set of issues. If in fact there was an illegal arrest, that is something that has to be dealt with. If in fact the conduct of law enforcement constituted the functional equivalent of an arrest, that is a standalone issue that has to be dealt with. I'm not making that claim affirmatively. We simply don't know. It is something that we have to look at and that we have to investigate. Whether and how Mr. Rahim responded is a related but separate issue, and that's something that we will investigate as well.
What about Mr. Rahim phone his father or any other family members to say goodbye before that encounter?
We have been able to confirm through cell phone records that near the time of Mr. Rahim's death, he was indeed on the telephone with his father. Whether it was at that precise moment, again, we'd have to we have to correlate the cell phone records with the time on the video. I've heard from reports, and again, we haven't seen it, that the video is too grainy to discern what was in his hand at the time.
Was he calling to say goodbye? Have you spoken to his father?
I do not know the substance of that conversation as of yet.
What does the
family think about the allegations in the complaint?
The allegations.
Planning to kill police officers, that he had this plan in place.
2 points. That came as a complete shock to the family. The family, of course, is aware of various media reports that suggest that Usaama Rahim had been radicalized by ISIL. That comes as an absolute surprise to the family. They had not perceived any conduct or change in demeanor with Usaama consistent with those reports.
Do you dispute those allegations? Do you dispute the allegations that he was radicalized and engaged in a terror plot?
Well, we simply don't have evidence one way or the other, and the family wants to be very careful to not engage in rank speculation. What the family wants to do is enter into a joint relationship with the investigators to get to the truth. The family does not have any evidence that that Usaama Rahim was involved with ISIL. They didn't see anything that suggests that. We, of course, are aware of the reports, but the family simply did not know.
Can the family characterize his relationship with David Wright?
David Wright is his nephew. So definitely, as most people know, their nephews. They were sufficiently close in age that they definitely knew each other. Beyond that, I simply cannot comment as to whether there was any sort of nefarious relationship. Again, the family did not know of any plans or any plans to kill anybody or engage in any other form of misconduct. Yes.
Can a member of the family describe him, talk about what he was like and what these last few days have been like for you?
The family at this point does not want to speak. The family will speak to the media soon. They are preparing their hearts and minds for the funeral service. I'm happy to answer any questions I can. Yes.
Was there any prior sense that Usaama Rahim struggled with mental illness?
Not that the family was aware of, no.
Why would Usaama Rahim walk to this parking lot armed with a large military knife?
We simply do not know. What we do know is that he appeared to be getting on a bus and going to work. What his plans were with a knife, if in fact he had a knife, lawyers would call that presuming facts not in evidence. We saw a knife. I don't know if there was video evidence of a knife on his person. Again, I am withholding judgment. The immediate family has instructed me to withhold judgment until we are possessed with facts sufficient to form an opinion.
If we can just ask you again, we have not heard from a single family member about who this young man was. If we can just hear from maybe the imam about his own brother, because the only picture we've got is from law enforcement, so it'd be helpful if we could hear about this man from his actual family members. Absolutely, and you absolutely will in due time. There are two sides to every story. So we, on behalf of the family, are asking the media, Professor Rob and I are asking the media to keep an open mind, to look at all the facts, and the facts will lead us where the facts lead us. I can say that Usaama was a son, a husband to his wife. He was a brother. He was very loved by his family. They are devastated. It is, I must ask that people keep in mind, this is an overwhelming experience for the immediate family. They have lost a loved one. This loved one is being accused of terrible things. The family is anxious to speak to the media directly. They will soon, but at this point, we just want you to know that I am going to help them in this investigatory process to figure out what happened.
Where was he going to work? Where was he going to work? Where did he work? You said he was going aboard a bus. He was going to work.
A different CVS.
Whether he attended school in Saudi Arabia?
You say he doesn't want to talk now. I understand that. Can you tell us how he regards his original statements? Does he regret those statements that turned out to be inaccurate?
The original statements, absolutely. He got information and he repeated information on social media. This is why I don't do social media. So he got information, he repeated it. Contrary facts came to light. Location of, in fact, he had heard from a third-party source, and I'm not going to say who, it's not really relevant, that the autopsy showed that there were shots in the back. So he relied on a statement from a third party that turns out at least significant portions of those statements were not true. So what the imam did issue a subsequent statement, and it was in the press release that he is calling on all Americans, all Muslims, all Muslim Americans to remain calm, let the investigation take its course, and he ended by saying, God bless us all, and we certainly hope that you do that. Yes, ma'am.
How is the family, if they don't want to speak yet, how have they described Usaama to you? You know, what kinds of things were important to him? What kinds of things did he like to do?
You're going to get to know him well over the next few days, but they have described him as an energetic young man, trying to work, trying to make his way in this world. He's a very, very young man, obviously, but nothing about that description was outside of the boundaries of normalness, of a seemingly normal young man going about the workaday world.
Mr. Sullivan, was Mr. Rahim's family at all aware at any time that he was under this constant surveillance by the JTF?
No.
Did
they
they
agree with
Facebook page? Sorry, the Facebook page has been tied to him. Suggestions that shows evidence of radicalization.
I haven't seen the Facebook page, and I couldn't comment as to whether it's his or not.
Does the family categorically deny that he possibly could have been radicalized?
Well, I don't think anyone can categorically deny anything. What I have said is that the family is unaware of any radicalization, and the family did not see any signs of radicalization. So might that have been the case? I mean, one can speculate ad infinitum. The family simply has no evidence of that, and we hope that over the course of this investigation, we can learn more. You've been trying to get in.
Oh, I was wondering if the family has any comment or has told you anything about the extent to which he spent time in Saudi Arabia, was schooled there.
No information at this point.
Do you guys agree with his aunt that just said the only reason why terrorism is coming up is because he is a Muslim?
I didn't hear the comments. The immediate family here are very clear that they want the conversation at this point to turn on the fact that a very young man is dead and whether that shooting was justified. We certainly live in a very particularized historical moment where there are concerns, some legitimate, some hysterical, over people of the Muslim faith. The central point, however, that the immediate family wants to convey is that they want to particularize this investigation into the facts and circumstances surrounding Usaama. And if evidence presents itself that other factors were at play, I will follow where the evidence leads. At this point, we have no evidence other than what's been reported and the information that I've gleaned from independent sources. Yes.
Does the family have any communication with the mother-in-law of Ibrahim Todashev, who reached out to them on social media? And do they have any thoughts about any parallels with that situation?
I'm not aware at this point.
Now, was there, I understand they had a problem finding a place to bury the body. He's going to be buried tomorrow. Where, in Canton?
He is going to be buried tomorrow. The family really requests privacy. There are a particularized set of religiously inspired rituals that have to be followed and that they are going to follow. They're viewing this as a very private and a very solemn burial and janazah, and so they've asked me not to disclose anything particular about the funeral or the burial. Yes.
Can you tell us exactly which family members are represented here with the immediate family?
Absolutely. Professor Rob? This is Professor Usaama Rob.
So this is the oldest brother of the deceased, Imam Ibrahim Rahim, also from the Boston area, currently living in California, but he's back on this occasion. And do you want to introduce the others?
This is
This is our mother, Sister Rahima Rahim. And with us, my brother Kareem Rahim, my brother Muhammad Rahim, and Sister Nigeria, Usaama's wife. She's very distraught. And a plethora of other, and Uncle Ricky's here, and so many other Aunt Karen's here. You know, the family's here.
Have you felt supported by the community in Roslindale? Has the family felt supported by their immediate community in this area and elsewhere in Boston?
So far, in terms of their friends and their immediate acquaintances, yes. I must say that the family did feel ill at ease and unsafe about coming back home. The Imam was born and raised here in Boston and has been a respected figure in the Muslim community for years and years. And as some of you have reported, he was certainly during the Zainaev trial and before, he was a person whom many Americans came to seek comfort. He engaged in a much more consistent and proper exegesis of the holy text than others who are, to use your terms, radicalized. So he's been a respected figure, respected imam. The family has very deep roots here. So with respect to their close associates, absolutely. For people broader and outside of the circle, we would simply ask that you respect this born and bred American family. They have lost someone, and whatever you think that he may or may not have done, they lost a loved one. They are grieving, and what is not contested, and no one has suggested otherwise, that none of these people whom were introduced are even suspected. There's not a whiff of suspicion that they have engaged in any wrongdoing. So that's essentially important, an important thing to remember. We'll take two more questions, and the family is going to retreat and prepare for the burial. Yes.
What was the family's last interaction with Usaama Rahim before he died?
I'm actually not sure of the precise nature of the very last reaction. Those sorts of stories will come out very shortly.
You said the family's headed to watch the video now at the Suffolk DA's office? We
are going to watch the video at some point today. I may have said now, I didn't mean that literally, but at some point today, we're going to watch it so it can be viewed before the burial, because tomorrow is going to be simply off limits, where they will very solemnly observe the death of Usaama. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your viewership, and if you found this reporting valuable, please like and share it. You can find more of our reports on BayStateExaminer.com. Links to our website, Facebook page, and Twitter are on the channel banner, and please consider donating so we can continue to expand our coverage.